Hi guys, Robbo46 here. Now the news is finally broken about who is going to be replacing Jorge Lorenzo at Repsol Honda next season, and it is none other than the 2019 Moto2 World Champion and Marc Marquez's younger brother, Alex Marquez. So Alex Marquez moving up from Moto2 to MotoGP for 2020 on a one-year contract at Repsol Honda. Like I said, Jorge Lorenzo had announced retirement at Valencia, and that left the seat vacant. So we're going to do a race at Sepang as Alex Marquez in Moto2. Difficulty on 120%. This is where Alex Marquez wrapped up the Moto2 World title. So yeah, we'll do a race here. So yeah, when Jorge Lorenzo announced his retirement from professional racing on, well, at the beginning of the weekend, on Thursday, when he said that he wanted to arrange a press conference, that left a few people scratching their heads as to who is going to be replacing him at Repsol Honda, because Lorenzo had a 2-year contract with Repsol Honda, but he decided not to do the second year and retire instead. And all the other riders under contract as well, so they're all signed up for 2020. So there were a few names knocking around. There was the possibility of Cal Crutchlow moving across from LCR to Repsol Honda, but Cal did go on record saying that he is very happy at LCR, and he's happy with his team. And obviously he had that Monster Energy personal sponsorship as well, so he would have had to get rid of that if he wanted to go to Repsol Honda, because they got Red Bull sponsorship. Also, you know, there was a few talks of Nakagami moving across as well, because obviously with a Japanese rider, Honda would love to have a Japanese rider on their full factory bike. Johan Zarco as well. So he and KTM, they parted ways partway through this season and left Zarco without a ride. Zarco did do 3 races on the Indomitsu LCR Honda, replacing injured Nakagami. Nakagami deciding to get his injured shoulder operated on. So Zarco stood in for Nakagami at the last 3 rounds of this season, and done a pretty good job, I thought. I know that he had, he only finished one of the races, and he had obviously 2 crashes, and got collected by Iker Lecuona's Tech 3 KTM at Valencia, which was a nasty incident, but luckily Zarco was okay. But yeah, considering that Honda did offer Zarco a contract for this year before he decided to sign for Red Bull KTM instead, because he didn't want to be on the same bike as Marquez. He wanted to beat Marquez on a different bike, which obviously didn't work out. Yeah, you know, I kind of thought that maybe Honda would say, you know, come on, now's your chance. But no, it's not happened. So, you know, Zarco was actually spotted talking to Ducati personnel over the weekend. Now, he did go on record saying that he would not race for Avintia Ducati because he didn't think that Avintia were a very good team, and that he would rather ride in Moto2 than ride for Avintia. So yeah, Alex Marquez, who is currently with, or was with, Marc VDS in Moto2. He was signed up for them for another year in 2020, but he is now going to be riding alongside his big brother Marc Marquez in MotoGP on the Repsol Honda. Now, we have seen Alex Marquez do a little bit of testing on the Repsol Honda. Now, this is going back to when Alex Marquez won the Moto3 World Championship. Repsol Honda awarded him by letting him ride one of Marquez's bikes during the Valencian test. But yeah, he is making the step up, which, you know, I'm reserving judgment on it, because you know, a lot of people were saying that, you know, when Quartararo signed for MotoGP, that it was a wrong decision, that he wasn't going to do anything. And look how he done this season. Had a fantastic rookie season, 6 pole positions, a few podiums, obviously Rookie of the Year as well. So yeah, he done a really, really good job in his first season. So, you know, we might see the same from Alex Marquez, like something similar maybe, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know, he might do the complete opposite and not do much at all. But we don't know until they go racing at the start of the season. But, you know, Honda had to make a decision today because they go testing tomorrow, and it would have been a little bit silly for, you know, them to get, you know, a rookie from Moto 2 up into MotoGP, you know, a bit later on, when really they need to give Alex Marquez, you know, as much test time as possible, give him the maximum testing time so that he can, you know, get acquainted with the Honda. And I believe that he's going to be actually testing the LCR Honda at Valencia, and then obviously try and get used to that, and then he will then go on to the 2020 Honda a bit later on. So yeah, it's going to be Team Marquez in 2020 at Repsol Honda. So he has got a 1-year contract. Obviously Honda want to see, you know, what he can do. Now I know that Marc did go on record saying that he didn't have any influence over the decision, but you know, you, me and everyone else knows that that would not have been the case. Honda want to keep Marc happy, so they would have, you know, given him maybe like the final decision on who would be his teammate for next season. Honda need Marc because he's the only one who can be consistently competitive at the front. He knows how the Honda wants to be ridden, so, you know, they want to keep him happy because they want to re-sign him for 2021, and that those negotiations are going on at the moment. So maybe this was the start, or, you know, another step for Repsol Honda keeping Marc Marquez for 2021. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how Marc treats Alex on track. You know, I'm not saying that they're going to be together during the races, but, you know, through free practice, because we did see Marquez go back to the Marquez of old at Valencia and try to ride through Carroll Abraham and make contact. So it'll be interesting to see if he would do something similar to his brother. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think it's going to be quite an interesting season. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out, how Alex Marquez gets on in the MotoGP class. You know, he does deserve a MotoGP ride because he's won the Moto3 World Championship. I know that it took him quite a few years to kind of get to grips with Moto2 and bring a title home. But he's done it. He won it this season. You know, only just in the end because he crashed out of Valencia and Brad Binder went on to win that race, and only finished 3 points behind Alex Marquez at the end of that race. But at the end of the day, he's won the Moto2 World Championship. And, you know, the Moto2 champions do tend to get promoted to MotoGP. But, you know, he was expecting to do another season in Moto2 and defend his title. But, you know, because of the news that Lorenzo was going to be retiring, that opened up the way. And it is kind of like a strange coincidence because Casey Stoner, you know, announced his retirement, and that made way for Marc Marquez. And now we've got Jorge Lorenzo, you know, announce his retirement, and that made way for Alex Marquez. So yeah, two you know, similar kind of conditions how the Marquez brothers got into Repsol Honda. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Alex can do. Obviously, Marc will help him out as much as he can, you know, sharing data, giving him tips and advice on how to ride the Honda, how the Honda likes to be ridden. So, it could potentially be, you know, Honda's dream package. I think having the two Marquez brothers in there is kind of Honda's dream package. It's definitely Repsol's dream package to have two Spaniards, let alone two brothers, two successful brothers at that, in the same team. But yeah, looking forward to next season. Looking forward to seeing how he does in testing. We'll be keeping an eye on Alex Marquez during testing to see, you know, whereabouts he is. Also, it's worth noting, Iker Lecuona was pretty impressive at Valencia as well. I know that he ended up crashing out of the race, and he did throw his bike at Zarco. But he was pretty impressive. You know, in free practice and that, he did, you know, faster times than his teammate, who's had a whole season on that bike. And at one point, he was in front of Mika Kallio as well. So, you know, interesting stuff from Lecuona, and he adapted to that bike pretty quickly. So next season is going to be interesting. That is the only difference now from the video that I put the other day of the teams and riders for 2020. It's no longer Jorge Lorenzo partnering Marc Marquez in 2020. It will be Marquez's younger brother Alex Marquez partnering him for 2020. Like I said, 1 year contract, and then obviously towards the end of the year or whenever, Honda will decide whether to re-sign Alex Marquez for 2021. You can be sure they pretty much will, but you know, we'll have to wait and see how he goes and how he adapts to the MotoGP bikes. But yeah, gonna reserve judgment on the decision until we see him in action. So just coming around the final corner of this race as Alex Marquez going to win. It was quite a hectic and quite a action-packed race, that one, but a lot of fun. So yeah, that is the main news today. Alex Marquez is going to partner his bigger brother Marc Marquez at Repsol Honda for the 2020 season. Anyway guys, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel for more content. I shall see you guys next video. See you.
On top of an exhausting weekend, if his team keeps working like this, it will be really difficult for his opponents to overtake him.